So normal Wednesday for us. Talk about the Saints here. Coach Moore, kind of a fast riser in our profession. Outstanding quarterback at Boise State. A lot of records there. Then gets into the league and done a great job. Started as quarterback coach and then been a coordinator at 3 different spots. Obviously most recently with Super Bowl champions. Known Kellen for a little bit. Really good man, good football coach. And he's had his team competing hard. They've had 3 games, I'd say very competitive games. 1 game that got away from them in Seattle, but 3 competitive games, 2 at home, 1-score games that came down to the wire in a 2-minute drives, one with 8 seconds left where they have a chance to tie it with a great throw by Rattler to Johnson. And 4th and 2, they end up getting sacked against San Francisco, but right down to the wire. Played Buffalo last week. God bless you. Played Buffalo last week. 7 minutes so left in the 4th quarter at a really tough place to play. It's a 1-score game. Really explosive running back to me where it starts with Kamara. Dynamic in every sense of the word, fast, vision, can take it the distance, can catch the ball, can run routes. He's been a very good player for a long time. And, use action game off of that to try to create some explosives and downfield throws to the receivers who are very talented. Olave, Shaheed, tight end that can run, and then 4 first-round picks on an offensive line with a second-round pick at playing center. So I think Rattler, I've known Rattler for a bit. I went to his high school. I was at Alabama, one of the top recruits in the country. Timing, rhythm passer, accurate, and has good athleticism, can make plays with his legs. I'll run him on some runs. He's good on scrambles. Coach Daly coming in there to be the defensive coordinator. A couple of veterans on the defense with Cam and Davis, who I think have been really good players for a long time. And they got a good defensive scheme and 3 really good returners. The guys that I mentioned before, and Miller is running back number 5 there, who's also productive on offense. So they've had 3 really competitive games that have come down to the 4th quarter. And the game out at Seattle that kind of got a little away from them a little bit, but tough place to play, tough environment to play. We need a good week of practice here. Injury-wise, only be 3 players that aren't practicing today. Dex is sick. That's the reason why he won't be here. And GBR is got a vet day, and then Tracy won't practice. He's getting closer. Everybody else will be doing something.
You're going to start the clock on any of the guys from the reserve list?
I don't think so this week. Yeah.
Did Dex play sick Sunday?
No. Nope. What's your definition of sick?
Much less than 100%.
Okay, yeah. But he played pretty good, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like the kids say, sick.
Correct.
On draft night, how much were the Saints a team you were worried about in terms of either taking Jackson at 9 or trading up from 40 ahead of you guys when you were eyeing Jackson?
Getting old, Ryan. Focused on this week right here. So got a big week ahead of us. Make some improvements in a lot of areas. It's talking about 4 months ago. What are you looking for?
How did Andrew Thomas come out?
Good. Yep.
What are you looking forward to seeing out of Jalen Hyatt, Collins, those guys with the opportunity that exists now without
That Papa?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, again, those guys have been working hard. They're out here for a reason. I expect them to know what to do and go out there and do it at the highest level they can do it.
Dave's, Jackson's played in a lot of loud stadiums in the SEC, but this is kind of a different field sometimes, the Superdome. Talk about the challenges he's going to have to face this week.
Yeah, well, offensively, we're going to have to do a good job of communicating. From getting the play in to Jackson communicating to whatever snap counts we choose to use relative to how the sounds are there, which is usually loud. You simulate it and try to do the best you can here at practice, but it's definitely one of the keys in terms of being able to communicate and operate and stay on track and eliminate some of the pre-snap things that when you play at a dome stadium, it's loud like this. So we'll work at it out here, blast it as loud as we can, and just make sure we're on point with our communication.
Does it make it harder to go no huddle when you're in an environment like that?
I'd say it varies. whether or not we do much of that this week. It's something we thought we could do last week a little bit, but I'd say just playing in a loud environment stadium is a challenging thing offensively. Calls, snap. I mean, there's a million different things that come into play. So, we had our walkthrough a few minutes ago, and you could hardly hear during the walkthrough, and that's what we'll do throughout the week.
You've been here for Kayvon's whole career. How high a level is he playing at now, and what do you, assuming you think it's one of his better stretches, what do you attribute that to?
Kayvon's been a pro since he's been here, and he's done everything we've asked him to do. I think Charlie Bullen has done a really good job with him, but give credit to the player of how he approaches things, the way he practices, how he studies tape, his effort on game day, his unselfishness to play different spots for us. He's really had a good start to the season for us.
How big an opportunity? Obviously, Malik is not here. How big an opportunity is this for Jalen Hyatt? It really hasn't. He didn't produce much last year. Hasn't done it much early this season. How do you view his role now, and how big an opportunity is it?
Yeah, we'll see what it ends up being. He's worked. He's worked hard since he's been here. He's worked hard these first few weeks of the season. Whether that's on the look team, whether that's taking reps, with the ones during practice, he's doing everything he can do to be as ready as he can be.
Do you have to pull back at all, reps-wise, with Jackson off of Sunday?
Nope.
Were you part of the meeting with the NFLPA recently, the other day?
That's NFLPA meeting, players only.
Do you? One of the topics that was discussed is, the turf versus grass debate. Do you have?
I wasn't in the meeting. I'd say
Do you have
people
an
that are in the
opinion
meeting.
on that in general, not even specifically about your stadium, but would you prefer all games on grass?
Yeah, we're getting ready to play the Saints, so that's where my focus is.
You mentioned that Tracy's going to be out today, probably not to play this week. You only dressed 2 running backs last week. Just what went into that decision, and how was that little, what do you have, one day to back up on? How do you account for that?
Yeah, I think we did what we thought we needed to do relative to the other areas of the team, too. Special teams. Tay was back there for us, returning, did a nice job for us, something we've been working on with him for a while, and I thought he did a really nice job with it. We'll see where we're at here this week. Those 2 guys have done a nice job for us in terms of scat and motor, and we just did what we thought we needed to do relative to the roster composition of the team and special teams and areas of that.
Is Dante Miller somebody, like, if there is an open spot, he had a pretty good preseason, so fans are like, oh, he should get the chance. Is there a chance for him if there is a roster spot?
Yeah, we'll talk about that throughout the week. He did a good job for us. He does a good job for us on the look team. He got show team player of the week last week for his efforts and the things that he's been doing. So, again, those are conversations we'll have throughout the week, and we'll do what we think is best.
What's the key to just trying to slow down a player like Kamara? You mentioned it.
All hands on deck. He can take it. He can cut one way and cut all the way back. He's such a skillful player and fast and has good vision. You need population of the ball. You need a good job of playing good up front and controlling the line of scrimmage and making sure we're gap sound. And even then, he can make plays that you're like, oh, man. And he's a tough cover out of the backfield, too. So he's been that way for a long time, dynamic. They get him the ball. I would assume they're going to try to get him the ball a bunch. We're going to have our work cut out for us of playing good team defense on a player like that. And then, again, 4 first-round linemen, center that's playing really well. So, it'll be a good challenge for us.
You had mentioned the other night about Burns and just how, left it all out there. Just in terms of where he is with his game. I mean, I know we talked this summer about the comfort, being comfortable, being more comfortable, but what you're seeing from him, I mean, I know you have a lot of talent up front, but just in terms of what he's been able to do for this team, seems to be exactly what you...
Yeah, and he's done it since OTAs. The effort that he's displayed out at practice, the leadership, not just the vocal leadership, but how he goes about his business. I'm not surprised with some of the things that he's done this year because he shows it out here every day. And he's done it since OTAs. He's had a really good camp. I just remember showing a bunch of clips with him over and over every day of this is the type of effort and the standard that we need to play with. And, we're going to need to continue to get that from him. He gives everything he has every game he's out there. He's a talented player. And again, we need him to be that way for us.
I mean, different guys bring different things in that room, right? That you have for the young talent and Abdul. You mentioned Kayvon.
Yeah.
When you have a player, it's not to say that those guys aren't working, but when you have a guy like Burns, where you could flip the tape on and say, "This is how you work," I got to imagine as a coaching staff, it's one of those. Be like this guy.
Absolutely. When you have veteran leadership that play at a high level and compete and finish with effort and strain, down in and down out. I mean, that's play on special teams if you need them to play on special teams, on a punt block, whatever it may be. That's always good to have those veterans that display those qualities in all those rooms.
You mentioned your relationship with Rattler. I'm just curious or history.
Yeah,
with
just
Rattler.
a trip out there at his high school.
What about your history with their backup quarterback, Shuck? Obviously, you did
Sure.
a lot with him this offseason, I imagine.
I think he's a good player. Has good athleticism. He has his own story and his own journey, but had good visits with him leading up to the draft. Think very highly of him.